Guys, oh my God, I always hate starting these things. How are you doing? So I really wanted to talk with you today about self-love and not this regurgitated conventional wisdom about self-care and self-love and blah, 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 blah. It's inauthentic. It's not real. So this video is for those who maybe have read all of the books, self-love books, and you applied it and it just hasn't worked. Or maybe you've applied and done the strategies and nothing seems to be really getting traction. Maybe you sit at the end of the day with that glass of wine and it's supposed to make you feel better, but it doesn't. Or you're going out there and doing your exercises and that's supposed to help you make you feel better, but when you're finished, it's like the void is still there. And this is also for those who are struggling to find healthy relationships in their life. Maybe you are wanting to find your divine lifelong soulmate, or maybe you're looking for just a healthy dating scene. You could be somebody who wants to actually get recognized at work, or you want to level up in your business, level up in your job, whatever it is for you. I mean, as I was talking about it, you already filled in the blank for yourself and how it pertains to you. This video is going to help you. So, first of all, let's just take away all of the pressure about what self-love is, okay? Because it's this general constricting thing, idea that it can be a little bit paralyzing. Really, all self-love is self-honor, self-respect, and self-value. Okay, so it's honoring yourself for everything you are and everything that you are not, right? And I want to speak to this too. So we get very hung up on self-value because we are very easy to see all the things that it's very easy for us to see all the things that we are not, right? And so we take a look at what others have and what others do, and we're like, well, I don't do it like them, so I'm not as great. It's not true. What if that other person is actually looking at you and thinking that very same thing? That they wish that they had your traits, that they wish that they had your characteristics. I firmly believe that my gifts, mixed with your gifts, mixed with another's gifts, help the collective, and what you have to bring is special and unique, just like what they have to bring is special and unique. But that doesn't take away from what you have to offer. Does that make sense? So it's just honoring who you are. And really, you can't honor yourself until you accept yourself. Okay? Acceptance is the foundation to all healing. You cannot move forward in a self-love journey unless and until you actually accept yourself for all you are and all you are not. You are hardwired to be perfect and divine just as you are, even in your imperfections, even in your weaknesses. Your weaknesses are even divinely orchestrated. I have a very huge, large energy healing background, right? And most energy healers use crystals for healing, but I can't retain crystal information to save my life. Even if I read it, even if I listen to a YouTube video about it, it is one ear in, out the other. But does that make me a bad energy healer? Absolutely not. That is somebody else's gift they get to share with the world. I myself have my own unique skill set that does not require crystals to elevate you. So it's really honoring all that you are and all that you are not, having acceptance for it, and actually even having gratitude for it. Now, self-respect, okay? Self-respect is choosing to show up for yourself. Self-respect is knowing that you could be doing better and then acting upon that knowing that you could be doing better. Okay? So it's never too late to start a self-love journey. I even hate saying it that way because it's so blech, but it's never too late to start. And that's because of neuroplasticity. Okay. We are generating new neurosynaptic connections every single time that we learn something new. And Dr. Joe Dispenza has proven that it doesn't matter how old you are. You could be 87 or 88, 90. It doesn't matter. Your brain can still learn something new. But it does start with a choice, and I don't mean to, this is not a you need to make a choice and shame on you if you don't. Fuck it. If it's really important to you, you will do it, right? So, if you understand neuroplasticity and that the brain changes and evolves regularly, daily, whether you choose to have it be that way or not, then you realize that you are infinite and things can change suddenly for you. Now, about 90% of our thoughts are the same ones that we had yesterday, right? I think it's actually 91% of our thoughts are the same ones that we had yesterday. And so those 91 thoughts are things that were given to you through your ancestors, through your DNA and genetic coding. Those were things that were caught or taught to you as you were growing up. Those were, the times where you've given love away and it was taken from you or not received or not treated the way that it was deserved. That was times when you chose something that was maybe embarrassing, humiliating, or detrimental, and that took your self-love away. We've all made mistakes. Nobody is impervious to it. Um, but those 91% of thoughts are completely unconscious. And I want to say 98% of those 91 thoughts are not even really yours. So if they're not yours, they didn't come from you, they don't originally stem from you, why would you even want them? Right? And to know that they're not yours, isn't that kind of freeing? That means when you're doing your inner work, that you're not doing the inner work because something's wrong with you. You're doing the inner work because you don't want other people's shit on you. You don't want other people's shit to control you, right? So, how do you build how do you build self-love? Okay. I want to give it this analogy. So, well, first of all, let me set the scene. Really, what self-love is, and self-honor and self-value and self-respect is building a healthy relationship with yourself, right? It's really, that's all it is. It's just a healthy relationship with you. And so now let me dive into the analogy, right? So building a relationship with somebody else. Okay, let's say it's a romantic relationship, the ones where you're like, I love you, all doughy-eyed and stuff. When you actually really love them, right? You don't go out on a first date and say, I love you, right? You don't go out on a third date and say, I love you. There's that joking, just, oh my God, I love you. But like the real deep, I love you. Like I can't live without you. Like you make me happy and you contribute to my wholeness, right? That kind of love. You don't just say that to somebody on the first date. Maybe you don't even say that to somebody in the first 6 weeks of dating them, right? You have to give yourself more than one date. You have to give yourself more than a few weeks. Okay. It is only when there's a level of self-trust built, where there's a level of self-humor and self-jest, when there is a recognition that you will show up for yourself and that you will choose yourself, that this natural I love you organically comes to be. But you have to give yourself more than just one date. You have to give yourself more than one day of reprogramming and conditioning new thoughts. You have to give yourself more than a few months. Because, see, here's the thing. Even with those 91% thoughts that are all the same, if you think about like a lazy river, like I like to use a whirlpool example, right? So, Think about a circular pool and the current, like let's say, I don't know if you guys ever did this when you were kids, but I know with me and my friends in a circular pool, we'd always make the water go one way, right? The current's going one way. And so when are you met with the most resistance? At the beginning, at the initial decision to change the current of the water, right? So you start to change, you get pushed back. It starts to change, you get pushed back, you get pushed back, you get pushed back. But eventually, as you move through and intentionally change the current of the water, eventually it gets easier and easier and easier, and it becomes sustainable. And then all you have to do is maintain it. But it comes down to a choice, right? I mean, everything. And also, here's another thing too. The self-love, self-honor, self-respect, self-value comes in micro shifts. It is all of those little micro shifts, little micro decisions, like choosing to cook dinner at home rather than going out and getting Chick-fil-A. I love me some Chick-fil-A. Like choosing to go outside for a walk rather than go stay in bed, choosing to pick up that water rather than indulging in that sweet tea or soda, choosing to learn something new like you are here right now rather than watching some Luciferian Matrix infested Netflix show, right? So it starts by making those micro decisions, but when you make those micro decisions, and it's the right ones that move in the direction of where you're going, that's where you got to celebrate yourself. You got to say, yes, I did it. I fucking did it. I fucking ate that apple and I found a way to enjoy it. Or I fucking took that bath when I thought that I didn't have the time and I made it happen. I got my ass out of bed early and I made it to the gym, and that makes me a fucking badass. I mean, how many times do you acknowledge all of the great things that you do? Let me tell you, if you were on the receiving side of that kind of relationship, would you want to be with you? That's why it's so important to acknowledge and celebrate those small wins, because if you don't, that's like a death by a thousand cuts. Now, feeling like you're an egomaniac or feeling wrong for celebrating yourself, that's a whole different conversation. But just trust me when I say, and I can make another video about that later, but trust me when I say that you have to acknowledge, at least acknowledge when you've made the right decision and anchor it in and celebrate it. That's level 2. Now, now that you understand that you need more than one date, you need more than a few dates, that you need to build trust within yourself, and you build trust within yourself by keeping the promises that you make to yourself, by choosing to show up for yourself, and all of those things. Now, what does the journey look like? Well, that's the thing. It's a journey. It's a process of self-discovery. We get this gift in this reality of intellectual shopping, right? So we can take a look at somebody's self-care routine and be like, ooh, I like that, and I like that, and I like that. We could take a look at somebody's beliefs and be like, ooh, I like that, I'm taking that, and I'm integrating it and bringing it in. And then you get to feel out what works for you, right? You may like the way a shirt or a pair of pants look on the hanger, but when you put them on, it doesn't fit right. You're like, okay, I don't want that anymore. What's new? What's next? What's better? What's going to complement my body, my shape, my figure? What's going to contribute to my confidence, right? So you have this ability to go intellectual shopping, pick out what you like, try it on. If it works, keep it. If not, surrender it, let it go, right? But it is this daily commitment to yourself that you're going to show up for yourself, that you are going to put yourself first. And I know I hear some of the I hear some of the consciousnesses now saying, but I have family, I have kids, I have, a job. Well, let me tell you this. Your job, your kids, your family are only getting a fraction of who you could be. You're only operating as a fraction of who you could be because you're not taking care of yourself, because you don't respect yourself, because you treat yourself like a second thought. So then how are others going to treat you? Like a second thought at your job, on your dates, with friends? Do you really want to keep getting passed up? It is actually selfish to not take care of yourself, to not respect yourself, to not take care of yourself because, like I just said, you're showing up as a fraction of who you could be for you. So people are only receiving you as a fraction of who you could be and who you are, and they lose. If you are a happier mom or dad, if you are a more driven and ambitious and passionate entrepreneur or employee or representative or contractor or C-level title, whatever, imagine how everybody benefits because you take care of you. It has more to do with just you. You got to do it for the other people in their life, in your life. You know that you could be talking to your spouse better. You know that you could be talking to your kids better. You know that you could be doing better at work or for your business. Otherwise, you wouldn't even be still here listening to me talk. Everything begins and ends with you. You're broadcasting to the universe, right? It begins, so you send out a signal. The universe picks up on that. It brings forth people, circumstances, situations that then trigger and come back to you, which then feeds that mirror and it loops. So it must begin with you. It must begin with the change within you. And then it'll circle back around, it'll give you feedback. Okay, and here's another thing that I want to say about the 91% thoughts. Okay, don't overcomplicate it. That's really all it is. You're just familiar with that state of being, with being hard on yourself, with being negative, with seeing all of your faults. You're just familiar with it. That's all it is. And because, see, there's so much that falls into this, and I really want to keep it brief and not overwhelm you. So I'm just going to keep this, I'm not going to talk for a few more than a few more minutes, but I want to empower you. There's the part of the brain that's called the reticular activating system. And it's essentially the filter that, in short, it is the filter that shows you what you think and feel and believe to be true about yourself and your life. So, because of this reticular activating system, if you believe that you are unsuccessful or if you believe that you're not worthy of love, then because you have that, that is the filter that you operate through life with. And it's just breaking the current. That's all it is. And in order for you to really make it happen, not only do you have to have belief that it's possible, but you also have to have a strong enough of a reason why. Why is it so important for you to have self-love now? Because I'm telling you that the way that you think, feel, and treat yourself is the standard that you set for how other people will treat, speak to, and talk and take care or don't take care of you. So you have to have a strong enough of a reason why. How badly do you want things to change? How badly do you want a good life? I'm going to leave it there. So just a quick recap. Oh, last thing I'm going to say, and I promise I'll stop. Self-love is not the things that you do for yourself. The things that you do for yourself are secondary. They are a result of self-love. Self-love is the way that you think and feel about yourself. So focus on the feeling. Focus on the feeling. Okay? All right, guys. So quick recap. Self-love is really just self-honor, self-respect, and self-value, and acting in accordance or congruently with that, making decisions congruently with that. Self-love is a journey, and there are days where it comes more effortlessly, and there are days when it doesn't, right? And it's hard to be on all the time, but even when you're feeling off, you still support yourself through it. This is about building a healthy relationship with yourself and nothing more. Don't overthink it. Okay? It's pretty simple. You have to have a sense of candor, a sense of humor with yourself. You have to be the observer that is observing you, knowing that 98% of those 91% of thoughts are not even yours. So just get rid of them. They're not you. Let it go. You gravitate towards what you're familiar with. So if you're familiar with being negative with yourself or on yourself, you just have to change the pattern and start creating. It takes time, guys, which is why most don't do it. You have to become familiar with loving yourself, with taking care of yourself. And that's only done through action. That's only done through time, right? Self-love is something that is earned. It's earned. I do believe that we are born with it initially, but you have to earn it. And when you do earn it, you take care of it. And it's never too late. You can start now. If you want help, you know how to reach me. I have a Patreon that with mentorship and coaching that costs less than a Netflix subscription. So you can be getting help weekly. But it all boils down to those micro decisions, those micro choices, and just understanding that it will take time, but you can do it because of this gift of neuroplasticity. Okay? All right, so much love and appreciation for you. Comment down below if this was helpful. Like the video if this was helpful. Share it with somebody who maybe needs to hear this message. Somebody who's forgotten their power, forgotten what's available to them, or is wondering how to build self-love, but hasn't found a way to actually do it yet. And if you want my help, visit me on Patreon. Take care of yourself, you guys. What you are doing matters, and taking care of yourself matters. You matter, and you are meant to do some remarkable things with your life, and you know it. I believe in you. And I know you could ask, how does this girl that doesn't even know me, maybe watching her video for the first time, how does she believe in me? Because you're still watching. That's why. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye.